Good morning everyone. Today we'll discuss about the theories of emotion. What is emotion? Emotion is a Latin word which means to stir or agitate. Thus, a stirred up state of organism which initiates activation of arousal state. These varies from person to person and situation to situation. Changes in physiological activities or physiological status are increased blood pressure, increased heart rate, increased respiratory rate, perspiration or sweating, facial expressions, gestures, unpleasant experiences, anger, and aggression, etc. There are three theories based on the changes taking place when we have emotion or before expression of any emotion. So it depends upon the order how they are occurring. Either physiological are occurring first or emotion is occurring first, or are they occurring at the time. So based on this we have three types of theories. The first one being James Lange theory. This theory advocates that emotions spring from physiological changes which are due to autonomic nervous system changes. The basic principle is perception of stimulus causes first physiological changes in our body. So it is also called as peripheral theory of emotion, which is proposed by James and Lange. So if you see in the diagrammatic aspect, there will be first stimulus or event. This leads to physiological changes. Then it leads to experience of emotions. For example, when we see a snake or some frightening item, first we will be having some physiological changes of like frightening expressions, increased heart rate and like that. Then we will be having a feeling of fear or frightened of that subject or animal. So first physiological changes occurs, then only emotion. That is the main thing in James Lange theory. Coming to Cannon-Bard theory, there will be first event and stimulus, and this event or stimulus activates the thalamus and hypothalamic regions of the central nervous system, and then both the physiological changes and experience of the emotion occurs at a time. This is the main thing, not one by one. So both occurs at a time once the activation of thalamus is done. Here, any stimulus initially activates the thalamus and hypothalamus. Message is carried from thalamic hypothalamic region to internal organs of body and cerebral cortex at a time. So because the message is reached at the same time, the changes also or the occurrence of the physiological changes and experience of the emotion also occurs at a time. Thus, it is also called as central or thalamic theory of emotion, where the simultaneous occurrence of both physiological and experience of the emotion occurring at a time. Then coming to third one, Shastor-Singer's theory. It is also called as theory of cognition, where the cognitive forces or capabilities are involving in deciding this emotion. Its focus on cognitive factors in order to in understanding the relationship between physical reaction and emotional experiences aroused. Interpretation of a situation by using cognitive factors. For example, here we will be having four steps. First, stimulus or event. Then evaluation of stimulus and labeling of aroused state. Whenever we see a snake or bear or frightening animal, first our brain decides that what type of stimulus this is or event this is. Either it is a good news or bad news, or positive or negative. Then it labels, once it is done, evaluation is done, it is a positive or negative aspect, it labels the aroused state as love or fear. Means in both cases our bodily changes increases, means heart rate or respiratory or sweating. In love, when we get blushed, we will be increasing of increased heart rate, and fear also increased heart rate. Then it is the brain which decides which type of emotion we have to exhibit out, that is experience of the emotion. So in Singer's theory, cognitive factors plays key role in deciding what type of emotion it is, that is by evaluating the stimuli and labeling the aroused state and finally experiencing the emotion. This is a simple point. These are the simple points about emotional theories. Thank you.